Hello there and a very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Before we get into your stories in detail, let's take a look at your top stories for tonight.
Sri Lanka has offered India the West Container Terminal. Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena confirms. Guidelines on public gatherings to be amended. Army commander says will act on the advice of the health sector to combat the new strain of COVID-19 in the country. Minister of Wildlife and Forest Conservation says he will not allow the removal of Crudia selenica tree from its natural habitat. New project at the Muthurajawala Sanctuary.
මුතුරාජවල බෙල් 412 සහ MI-17 හෙලිකොප්ටර් යාන අංගනයක් හදන්න අවසර ඉල්ලලා තියෙනවා.
Prime Minister declares open a 140 million rupee multi-purpose building for the Berola Pradesh Sabha. SLPP's response to Minister Vimal Weerawansa's statement.
මොකද අපි මේ දෙකේ එක මේ ගමන බේර ගන්න ඕනේ. අපි ආරාධනා කරනවා යන්න කියලා කරුණාකරලා.
අපි කුණාටු වලට බය වෙන්නෙත් නෑ. කුණාටු වලට අපිව බය කරන්නත් බෑ.
Starting off with a look at your top story tonight, Minister of Foreign Relations Dinesh Gunawardena said that the West Container Terminal has been offered to India. He made this statement while attending an interview hosted by a foreign news outlet.
Sri Lanka-India relations is not just one project issue that has come up. Our relations are very friendly, and we will be able to overcome all these issues that have come up and proceed on greater areas, vast areas where India-Sri Lanka relations will go further. Bigger projects and bigger investments and cooperation with India will continue. But from the very beginning, there has been commitment by the government, and the three governments have discussed these issues, and the negotiation failures also became one issue between Sri Lanka Port Authority and the relevant company. There is also the offer of a Western Terminal, which is one of the largest terminals in the port. I must say that based traffic containers are the key source that feeds the terminal.
Against a backdrop where the Minister of Foreign Relations made such a statement, the Cabinet Negotiations Committee appointed for the West Container Terminal is scheduled to meet for the first time tomorrow. The meeting will be chaired by the Secretary to the Ministry of Ports and Shipping, UDC Jailal. When inquired on the mandate of the Negotiations Committee, the committee responded that they will be looking into matters including the manner in which the investment opportunity should be presented to India and the companies from India that would get involved. The committee, however, said that the handing over of the West Container Terminal, the largest terminal at the Colombo port, should be done subject to cabinet approval. The proposed West Container Terminal is to be constructed on 64 hectares of land with a breakwater of 1.4 kilometers. The long-term development plan of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority for the West Container Terminal includes the establishment of 2 floating LNG storage facilities. However, India has reiterated its long-standing interest in participation in the operations of the Colombo port, even after Sri Lanka unilaterally cancelled the MOC for the East Container Terminal at the Colombo port. Indian media quoted a spokesperson to the Indian Ministry of External Affairs saying India's interest in participation in the Colombo port is a long-standing one since most goods handled there are from and to India.
Politicians have been selling off assets of strategic, national and economic importance to foreign nations for the preservation of their own political parties for decades. Governments have an inherent responsibility to always act in the enduring national interest of our nation. Governments must be guided by the need to protect the national interest, not to act in the narrow interest of partisan politics or self-interest. Governments that come into power as temporary guardians of our nation have no right to sell off assets of economic and national importance. Where are the people who made a hue and cry about the sale of the East Container Terminal now? The people will notice that those who made a ruckus about the East Container Terminal have now effectively handed over the West Container Terminal to India. Although you can fool all the people some of the time and some of the people all the time, you cannot fool all the people all the time.
While the debate on the East Container Terminal at the Colombo port continues, the awarding of a contract to install a hybrid renewable energy system on 3 islands in the Jaffna Peninsula, located 50 kilometers from India, to a Chinese company had given rise to concerns in India. Recently, India lodged strong protest with Sri Lanka on the award of this tender to a Chinese company for the construction of renewable energy power plants on the Delft, Nagadeepa and Analathivu Islands. News First questioned the Chinese embassy in Colombo regarding this project. Media spokesperson at the Chinese embassy in Colombo said the project is a commercial activity in accordance with the international bidding model. However, the media spokesperson added that the related Chinese company is a private one and the embassy does not know the specifics of the contract. Responding to the concerns raised by India on the project, the media spokesperson for the Chinese embassy further said, as far as China is concerned, the legitimate rights and interests of enterprises, no matter from any country, should be protected if the corporation is abiding by Sri Lankan laws and international rules being approved by the Sri Lankan government, so as to ensure the confidence of foreign investors and the continuous development of Sri Lanka. Former Eastern Province Chief Minister Sivanesathurey Chandrakanthan expressed these views during an event in Batticaloa today.
You might be aware that India faced defeat over the matters surrounding the East Container Terminal. There are groups such as Plot and Tello here. The Indian government provided weapons training for Sri Lankan youth before the Black July riots in 1983 and after that as well. They wanted to keep Sri Lanka within their control in the event of any issues. When Russia and India were allies in the past, J.R. Jayawardena stood with the US. That was when weapons training was provided in the northern and eastern provinces. A rally took place in the eastern region. Against such a backdrop, Karna Amman and Pilyan took part in the discussion to understand the situation in the eastern province. What is happening? Who is facing defeat?
The Indian Prime Minister also spoke on the fishermen's rights and said that the central government of India will ensure the protection of their rightful interests.
We cross over now to a short commercial break. We will be back with more news on the other side. Welcome back to the news now. In some sad news that have just come in, former Speaker WJM Lokubandara has passed away a short while ago. He was 81 years old at the time of his demise. Sources close to his family said that former Speaker WJM Lokubandara tested positive for COVID-19 earlier this month and was receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo. He was the Speaker of the Parliament of Sri Lanka from 2004 to 2010 and a senior politician. Lokubandara held several ministerial portfolios in the government of Sri Lanka before his appointment as the Speaker of the House. Moving on in more local news, Army Commander General Shavendra Silva has said that all possible steps would be taken to stem the spread of the new COVID-19 variant in line with the directives of health authorities.
Cases of the new variant of the virus have been reported from several areas. Discussions are being held on the detection of the new variant. We hope to take the relevant measures in line with the directives of health authorities. There are rumours circulating in the country stating that an island-wide lockdown will be imposed in the country, but such a decision has not been made yet. Nevertheless, we will take the relevant steps to curb the spread of the new variant together with the assistance of the health authorities.
Meanwhile, the Army Commander has said that a new set of guidelines will be rolled out in connection to public gatherings taking place in the country.
We hope to issue a new set of guidelines concerning parties and marriage ceremonies by identifying how it must be held. We hope to roll out these guidelines after reviewing the existing one. Discussions are being held in the country to identify the steps that can be taken to curb the spread of the new variant of the virus.
Incidents of environmental destruction continue to be reported from across this country. stoking concerns among environmentalists and the general public alike. Sand mining, rock quarrying, clearing of forest lands for large-scale cultivations and gem mining are among some of the key incidents that have been reported recently. The recent incidents have raised fears over the emergence of criminal groups that are involved in environmental destruction. The death of a person during a brawl in Kilinochchi today is a testament to the aggravating situation.
The brawl had taken place along the A9 road at around 11:30 am today. Police said that an argument that had taken place during sand mining had escalated into a scuffle. 4 suspects have been arrested in connection to the incident. 3 individuals who suffered lacerations during the incident have been admitted to the Kilinochchi Base Hospital for treatment.
Meanwhile, a vehicular parade had been organized today demanding an end to the negative impacts that are being caused to the Muthurajawala wetlands. The rally had commenced from the road running opposite the St. Nicholas Church in Bopitiya Pamunugama to create awareness among the public. The demonstration had been organized by the Archdiocesan Collective to protect Muthurajawala and the Organization for Protecting the Muthurajawala Sanctuary.
The Muthurajawala Reserve that is abundant in biodiversity is being destroyed before our very own eyes. A professor has described the Muthurajawala wetland as one source that provides oxygen to Colombo. The other source is the Attadiya Sanctuary. It is these sources that are facing a threat of depletion. Shouldn't public representatives who are elected through the votes of the people assist in protecting the country? Not a single public representative is here. We are urging the Minister of Wildlife and the Minister of Agriculture to intervene directly in this matter. A private company has acquired around 1,285 hectares of land in the Muthurajawala Sanctuary. At the same time, another company named Lanka Private Limited has sought permission to construct a helipad for Bell 412 and Mi-17 helicopters. The officials must let us know whether Lanka is a local or multinational company. The Muthurajawala wetland is being offered stepmotherly treatment. They are not showing genuine concern towards this. Their sole objective is to sell out the land from this area to earn money. All these activities are being carried out using money by taking advantage of the government's silence. We request that humanity should prevail over money.
Meanwhile, the Surakama Sri Lanka National Organisation convened a media briefing and spoke about the destruction of the environment in the country.
Roughly 260 ecosystems have been destroyed. We saw the President saying that he will not destroy the environment. He said that the environment is not being destroyed. We are ready to debate on any channel about the environmental destruction taking place in the country with any minister in charge of environment, the State Minister, Director General or any other official. The environmental destruction taking place now is no different than the environmental destruction that took place when foreigners invaded Sri Lanka. There is a very tactful move within the Gama Samaga Pilisandarak program. The President might be honestly wanting to solve the issues of the people, but the issues and questions to be asked from the President are prepared by regional politicians and electoral organizers. After the President gives his word, the very next day it was not the people of Dahayagala who cut down the forest, but it was outsiders who did it. So we would like to say that there is a massive environmental destruction that is taking place.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena visited Gampaha today to inspect the location of Sri Lanka's endemic Crudia zelenica tree. The former president, who met with area residents, inquired about the endemic tree. Representatives of the Surakima Sri Lanka movement and villagers apprised the former president on the matter. The former president also paid his respects to the Crudia zelenica tree that was ordained recently.
අපේ භාෂාවෙන් ගංගල භාෂාවෙන් කියනවා නම් මේ ගහට කියන්නේ අඬුකරද කියලා මේ විදිහේ
The attention of all relevant officials, including politicians, has been drawn towards this tree that is considered to be a valuable resource. According to my knowledge, even the president has been informed about this. As a group that is committed to protecting the environment, I believe that the government has responded positively on this matter and that a plan would be formulated to protect this species of flora. If my memory serves me right, I remember that the initial project plan was designed in a way to avoid harming this tree. Meanwhile, the Minister of Wildlife and Forest Conservation, C.B. Ratnayaka, said that the rare tree named Crudia zelenica will not be removed.
If there is a plant that is going extinct, then it is our duty to protect such plants. That tree has not been cut down, and we will not allow anyone to cut it down at any cost. Under the laws passed in 1934, it is the Wildlife Department that has the power to take any action on this tree, Crudia zelenica, and they have taken proper action. The Ministry of Environment must obtain a feasibility report. They are getting ready to do that. It is our duty to protect this.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Environment, Mahinda Amaraveera, said that if a need arises, this tree will be removed from its current habitat and relocated.
We have informed the authorities to temporarily halt the removal of this tree from that area. We will first try to protect this tree and build the road. If there are practical difficulties in doing both, we are ready to remove this tree from here and relocate it somewhere else.
Meanwhile, Gampaha district parliamentarian from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Upul Mahendra Rajapaksa, today visited the site where the Crudia zelenica tree is located.
I believe that the tree will be protected and the road will also be built, so that the faith of the people placed in the president will be protected. It is hard to do this while seated in air-conditioned rooms. As a person living on this ground, I have a doubt as to if this can be relocated to another place. I believe that it is extremely hard to relocate this tree.
Meanwhile, opposition parliamentarians have expressed their views on environmental destruction taking place in the country.
They have begun their administration by allowing environmental destruction. I think it was for the very first time in Sri Lanka's history that the leader of the indigenous community filed a case in the court to protect around 5,000 acres of land inhabited by his people. Deforestation is taking place in areas that are visited under the Gama Samaga Pilisandara program. What can we make of Gotabaya Rajapaksa's administration? It is like a group of Somali pirates who have assumed power. They don't understand the law. They are destroying the country by considering it to be their asset after coming into power. They feel that the country belongs to them. Everyone has accepted that Gotabaya Rajapaksa's mannerisms have changed. Magal Kande Sudanta Thera once cited an empty mortar shell while drawing parallels to the candidate that they supported. He said that they are only used on customary occasions. One Ilatto had said that there is no point in blaming the pigs after setting up a scarecrow in the field. They have proven that the might which they claimed to possess before they came into power is useless. Their power is deteriorating. That is because Gotabaya Rajapaksa has not resolved any problems in the country. Our economy has fallen to its doldrums. The cost of living has increased. As 1 year has passed, we can say that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has been defeated at the hands of the people. What happened to the government which said that an administration cannot be run with the president and the prime minister on two opposite ends? They are putting up various theories to divert attention from the problems of the people. Who cannot resolve these problems of the people? They have received all the power they wanted, including a 2/3 majority. They have passed the 20th Amendment as well. There are two brothers. One is the prime minister and the other is the president. Therefore, who is unable to work efficiently? we wish to ask the government whether it is the people who are not efficient. The inefficiency of the government has affected the people.
Meanwhile, leader of the opposition Sajith Premadasa expressed views regarding the large-scale land grabbing in Lunugamwehera today.
As the Wildlife Department, what we are requesting from you is the proposed Wild Elephant Management Reserve to be fully gazetted for the 450 elephants living in the area. There is no need to hide it. There is a large-scale land grab happening according to the needs of the politicians in the area. This land grab led by politicians must be stopped. There is a campaign to popularize this land grab in the guise of lands alienated by the ancient kings. The reserve not being gazetted is wrong. It was a mistake during our time as well. The ministers who are on our side and in charge of the Mahaveli are now in the government faction. Many of them are elephants that migrate from one place to another. You all know that when the Dahayagala reserve is gone, this elephant encroachment will increase.
දැන් දහයියාගල රක්ෂිතයක් නැති වෙනකොට මේ පැත්තේ වනාලින්ගේ පීඩනය ජනතාවට එන පීඩනය වර්ධනය වෙනවා.
Still in local news, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that it is the responsibility of the people to get the maximum service possible from the government that they established. The Prime Minister made these remarks while speaking at an event held in Beruwala.
The four-storied multi-purpose building of the Beruwala Pradeshia Sabha was declared open by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today.
If we are serving the people of the village, I believe that the place where we serve them must be maintained well. I believe that if we are to serve the people, the place that we provide these services to the people from does have an impact. It is our duty and responsibility to provide the facilities in the cities to the people in these villages. We will fulfill those duties. I believe that it is the duty of the people to benefit from the government that they have established. If a person thinks the ministers, MPs and councils have already been established, I can sit back and relax. Not only you, but your province and your village too will lose.
The leader of the National Freedom Front, Minister Vimal Veeravansa, has emphasized on the need to strengthen the political power of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He made these remarks during a ceremony held in Kurunegala with the participation of Sri Lanka Freedom Party Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara today.
The Presidential Commission has submitted its report on the April 21st attacks. It was Zaharan who was involved in the bombings. But who ordered Zaharan to carry out the bombings? We need to identify the hidden force behind this. The final report of the Commission must identify the individuals who were behind these attacks. But just as the Cardinal said, it seems that there is no wrongdoer behind the bombings. Instead, they are finding fault with others over this. It was not President Maithripala or Gnanasara Thera who carried out the bombings. I heard a statement made by Namal Kumar recently. He talks about a conspiracy to assassinate former President Maithripala and Gotabaya Rajapaksa. What was the force that had conspired to assassinate the president and appoint another individual to power?
ජනාධිපති කරවන්න කවුද බලවේගී ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිතුමාන්ව හැමතින්ම ශක්තිමත් කිරීම වැදගත්.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa needs to consolidate power to overcome these challenges. It is important to strengthen his political power. That is because he is the country's first president without a political party. He will be able to fulfill his duties to the utmost only if he is strengthened in terms of power. That is what would make him complete as a leader. We are making these statements out of our loyalty towards him and not due to any other motive. He is governing the country in a proper manner amid several hardships. He is fulfilling his duties only because his policy is aligned towards developing the nation. My resignation from the Janatha Vimukti Peramuna created a massive controversy, but we faced that. Several issues arose after we lost the elections on the 8th of January 2015. We faced those as well. Although certain storms may emerge, they cannot always make landfall. We always look at any challenge with a positive mindset. Therefore, we are not afraid of these controversies. They cannot instill fear in us.
If
Gotabaya Rajapaksa wants the position in the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, the true brothers will deal with it. When the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was formed, those party leaders opposed such moves. Therefore, they have no right to talk about our party. We have to protect it. Otherwise, we will not be able to serve the people if we move forward with these individuals. If they feel that the people will listen to them, they can leave the party instead of hanging on to us. If a dispute escalates between a husband and his spouse, then it will lead to a divorce. Therefore, we urge them to kindly leave our party.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is the biggest party in this alliance. It is the biggest party in the country. There is no way in which it can have a problem. We have other allied parties that constitute our alliance. The leaders of those parties express various remarks, but those constituent parties must understand that if our party is a huge tree, these constituent parties have reached the top of the tree using our support. Therefore, we wish to tell the leaders of constituent parties that if there is a problem within our party, we as the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna are capable of resolving it. We don't need the advice of other parties.
Meanwhile, a group of artists convened a media briefing today to comment on the crisis.
ගරු ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිතුමාව මේ පුටුවට ගෙහලා තිබ්බට පස්සේ
After bringing Gotabaya Rajapaksa to power, another individual is trying to become the president. He doesn't help Gotabaya Rajapaksa to develop this country. Several people can be seen criticizing the government when we walk on the streets. As artists who supported efforts to bring this government to power, we have been left speechless. Therefore, do not speak uselessly. 6.9 million people did not vote for them to protect their generations. The younger generations are prepared to send them home in a manner similar to which the government was elected to power.
It was Vimal Veeravansa who fed the reality and the truth into the minds of the people. We cannot forget that. They began work at Nelum Mawata by forming the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna only after that. That is our stance. In fact, all of us bear a similar stance.
We now cross over to a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We will be back. And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight. To follow details of these stories and more, you can of course log on to our award-winning website www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Charlene Benedict for the News First team, along with our sign language interpreter for tonight.